So hi everyone. We're all that's the third team in Madrid, where we took our offsite to do the release. So today we'll be talking about the 1.0.4 release, which is now live. It's been tagged and published. That was yesterday. Everyone will be talking today. We'll mention like not everything that we did, because as you'll see, there's a ton of things that were done in this release. But we'll take the most like biggest topics and the one that were most recurring in like user feature requests. So first things first, since 1.0.2 we skipped the 1.0.3 because I mistagged. I apologize for it. There's been 110 days, so it's a short cycle, 3 months, with 500 PRs, 2,000 commits. Oh, my bottle was in the middle. More than 2,000 commits. We've increased by 5 times the number of GitHub stars, which is a good sign that there's traction on this. And there's countless new features and improvements that happened. First ones are from Omar.
Yeah, so well, we have thank you. We have finally automatized the publishing of pre-built packages for Debian, for Alpine Linux. We skipped Windows by mistake. It would be fixed, but we put this available also the prepackaged thing for Windows, and also because this is the first version which has Windows support. It's an initial support. The agent is still not available, which means that you can only do like non-concurrent operation on a single repository, but everything else works on Windows, plugin included. So it's interesting. And talking about operating system, there's also a nice thing with our background at least, that the build was fixed for NetBSD and Dragonfly BSD. So we run also on all the major BSD as well. Oh yeah, not mentioning Linux, Windows, macOS, and whatnot.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it's good. Just like plan 9, and then we could.
About Windows, just to make sure, like to clarify, it's an initial support, but that's the first release that actually builds on Windows. Like 1.0.2 did not even build, so that's the first time you can actually launch Plakar. You will get everything except the concurrent mode, but you will get the plugins and you will get the UI, which is very cool.
First stable.
Yeah. Oops, that's then Mathieu and I. Want to talk first, or
go ahead?
Go ahead. So we've been working a lot on performances improvements. So that happened in multiple fields, primarily in terms of CPU usage, where we are overly concurrent in the past. We kind of reduced the concurrency to like be a bit more gentle on the machines, providing the same range of efficiency. We did a lot of optimization on the memory side, with less things kept in memory during runtime. So we solved many of the bottlenecks in that area. There's still stuff to improve still, but it's a huge improvement compared to previously. We have sped up backup, we have sped up check, we have sped up sync, we have sped up restores through the same kind of optimization that are like once you do it, it optimizes a ton of subsystems within Plakar. The caching improvements we did were on both the amount of data that was cached, because we were aggressively caching things, and the access pattern that we did. So for example, you would hit the cache far more frequently than currently, which also speeds up a lot of patterns. We did this by packfiles.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Which is also another way to reduce our memory footprint. Basically, it's still the default, to be clear. Memory-based packfile are still the default, and so it means we construct our packfile, which is our unit of storage that we push to the storage. We construct it in memory because they are not that big. They are around 22 megabytes. The problem is that we have twice as many as you have cores, so it can be quite big on like beefy machines with a lot of threads. So we give an option. We have an option to defer construction to disk. So we'll use a temporary storage on disks as that you specify /tmp, for example, unless you have a memory-based TMP. And that helped a lot with having a lot less pressure on the memory.
That's not as painful as you'd expect from trading memories through this, because we're doing mostly sequential IO on this. So
it's up and only,
yeah,
so it's
up and only. We fixed an issue that people were mentioning a lot about the restoring of symlinks and hard links. This was patched. This was fixed actually in the layer that provides all the integrations, their primitives. So this allows FS to handle them, but also SFTP and also anything that has that concept of having symlinks and hard links.
But we should highlight that symlinks were still stored in
Yeah,
previous backups. So if you have previous backups and you want to restore with symlinks, it would work because we have them. We have the information. We just didn't apply them on restoration.
They are backed up but not restored.
Exactly.
So
now there's no loss of information. Yeah.
Good. Eric.
Yeah. So 3 improvements that have been made also. The first one is the agent mode, which has been reworked because the agent was a bit painful to work with. It caused lots of friction and lots of confusion. So it's still needed, as Omar said, to be able to run concurrent operations on a repository. But we don't want the user to have to handle by himself. So what we did is that we changed the way it works, that it will automatically start when it's needed, and it will stop when it does. So ideally, we want to leave completely the agent mode and move to only cache. The agent will only be cache and will not actually do the work. But so that's the first step, which is quite a good step. So in the Windows, it's still it's not working at all like this. So as Omar said, there's no concurrent operation on Windows. But so now the user doesn't have to care about the agent, or should not. So quite a big improvement in terms of usability. Another thing that was not working so nice is the exclude patterns that we wanted in backup. So we changed the way it worked, and now we are basically using what Git does with the gitignore file. So we can provide a gitignore file, which is just basically a set of gitignore rules, and it works exactly like Git would do. So it's quite easy if you're used to that. The only thing is that Git has the notion of gitignore files being bound to a specific directory. In our case, we all consider that the ignore rules are anchored to the root of the backup. So with that in mind, with this exception, it's basically working like Git would do. So, and also it's much better that when we.
So everyone has the same usability as they would with Git.
Yeah, basically.
So they can even that anchor thing. When you're using patterns, you don't see it because usually you would like to ignore all PDFs or all thing that does not need to know that there's an anchor. Pruning.
And the last thing is pruning. So we also had. It was not so easy to handle retention and removing old unused backups. So we changed the way that we looked at it, and we introduced a new command which is called prune. And so the idea is that you define a set of a bucket of time periods in the past for which you describe how many backups you want to keep within that frame, time frame. So for example, you could say that I want one backup per month in the last 12 months, and also I want one backup per week in the last 4 weeks, for example, and 3 backups per day in the last week, so in the last 7 days. And so it is very simple to say, and it actually basically does what we want to do when thinking of pruning old backups. That's not necessary anymore.
So it's essentially a retention tool. While you say not what you want to destroy, but what you want to keep.
What you want to keep. So that's why we didn't actually. At first, it was plugged into RM, but we thought that was too confusing and could lead to
Yeah, it was like conceptually,
conceptually it
was
was
weird.
so we just introduced prune, which makes more sense.
So all of these have been features that were like heavily requested by people that have been annoyed by our agent mode, people that have been like not confused, but that thought our exclude pattern was not as expressive as it should. So now with gitignore, we are supposed to be as expressive as Git. And pruning, well, I think we're doing the good job because we are having enough tons of buckets to handle from minutes to years with max capacity per period and the onion of all. So you can do very complex, very flexible patterns of retention. So good. That's me, improved sync. One of the things we did was an improved sync. So synchronization is how you push a snapshot from a store to another store. The thing that we had was written as a low layer tool, which was actually like knowing what was a blob, what was a chunk, etc. It would do a special pattern of synchronization, which was supposedly efficient. Yeah, we assumed it was efficient. And then the thing is that as we came up with new CDC algorithms or optimization algorithms, as we came up with new benchmarks on how we would compress things, we realized that sync was becoming kind of a bottleneck because you could not sync a store with a different store that has a different configuration because it was like replicating low-level objects, which did not make sense for another configuration. So we rewrote the sync to be more in the workflow of a backup. So a sync is essentially opening a file from a snapshot in one repository and writing it to the backup pipeline of another repository or store. So this simplified a lot of code. This allowed us to sync between repositories with different configuration. This also is a very cool tool for migration because that means that previous stores that were created before any optimization we did, when you sync them to another store, they get the new indexes created through backups, so they get optimized and they benefit from all the work that we did since 1.0.2. So that in a transparent way, as in you don't change the way you used to work with syncs, it just transparently has the benefits. I don't know what to say about sync. Or did I miss something?
No, it's just engine thing.
Yeah, it's an engine. It's low-level thing. Technical details that benefits everyone transparently with that release. So that's
more awesome.
Yeah. Edouard and Julien.
We had a big challenge to revamp the UI because of a few issues we had on both ergonomics and design overall. So we had in mind to improve the UI, the user experience, the accessibility, and the responsive. And to do so, we started to work on the design system in order to have our own art direction, but also to know how to handle such a UI, to have something more homogeneous. So, and the second thing actually is that we did add some kind of features, but it was used mostly centered around improving the existing UI. So I will show the new UI. Sorry, good. Okay. That's the UI. The thing that already existed is this dashboard, which is a quick view. We already had also this a view to view all the snapshots. And the snapshot browser. Let's see. Yep, I take this one. Yep. That's the neat part of the UI, is that you can easily view the content of your snapshots, any kind of files. And that was part of the things that we completely remade. I don't know if it's the best file to open, but
that's puffing it. It's good.
So we did work on new features on these views, but well, it would be too long to list them. But well, yes, we did made a lot of improvements. The alerting, analytics, which is coming soon. And actually, the integration page, it's a brand new feature that allows to list all the integration we have, their documentation, and to easily install or remove them from the UI.
That's disabled on the demo, so if you try,
I will not.
the demo.
Yeah, I can show you what's happened, but yeah, that's it. Overall, it's brand new. Like nothing, we get nothing from in terms of UI, but in terms of features, we get most of it. So if you are used to the previous UI, it's basically the same thing, but with the new interface.
You also have the light mode. I can. This is the first time I like the light mode actually. With other tools, yeah.
And the last version, we actually listening to the system mode also, so you don't have to to switch to the dark mode yourself if you dark mode guy. Well, that's it.
Should we plan the Matthew mode? Green and red.
The previous one?
Previous one?
Yeah, that's my.
Yeah.
Just point the.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I spoke.
Regarding the documentation, we made a lot of improvements on the man pages everywhere, and we started to create some tutorials on Discord first that have been moved to plakar.io, and the goal is to have them updated regularly to update all our documentation. We've not been the best at this recently, but we will work on that very soon to improve to a bit our videos on Twitch. We'll try probably to put some videos on YouTube for like quick starts and everything. So yeah, we've been working on that, and it will be improved again very soon.
And last but not least,
Yeah, it would not be another release if we did not have more connector available. So we mentioned them before, the plugin things, the integration things, but we did not introduce what they are because that's a brand new thing we did release.
that's true.
So we did wrong. Anyway, so we in the previous Plakar releases had like the S3 connector or the the SFTP connector, the FTP connector built in. So you just download Plakar or build it yourself, and you had access to S3 and whatnot. But that has a downside in the binary size, in the dependency side, which is kind of important, but
Also,
even more important
the
to the
release
release
cycle.
cycle. Because it means that if it was a bug in the S3 connector, we had to release, we would have to release Plakar again, and that is kind of annoying to do. So we decided to split the plugin into to split the integration, the connector, to separate plugins that we call integration. And there is a whole new suite of, well, it was shown in the UI, but it's also accessible via the command line with Plakar pkg add, SFTP to install the SFTP integration. And so yeah, we have plugins now. They're easy to write. We have a Go Closet SDK, SDK for Go to write integration. And well, we published some new one, like the GCP, the Google Cloud Storage one is brand new. IMAP is in beta release, so could be interesting to try it out. And there was some really interesting improvements in terms of performances in SFTP and in S3 in particular. Like some really good, I don't remember the number, exact number, but it was okay. We should have taken notes, but it was no, it was like a
SFTP. It was like 6 times faster.
Yeah, just randomly dropping a system performances in SFTP. And
no, the SFTP one also, we had the first one was relying on the Golang native Golang
that's true.
implementation,
which has drawbacks. Drawbacks.
It's not to shit on them, but it has a ton of drawbacks, and people kept complaining because it did not follow the feature set of
just the behavior of OpenSSH.
Yeah. So we managed to have, like, we had a plan to maybe rewrite plugin, but that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, very lot
work.
for a long time.
And we found intermediate step, which is to rely on SFTP, the command line, for all the parsing and handling of pre-connection, connection stuff.
Yeah,
And then pass the support to the package, which is not the best around there, but
to make it easier
Yeah.
to understand, we just reuse part of the SSH command line utility you have on your machine to speed up the access to SFTP and to actually behave like you would expect if you ever used SFTP or SSH with a configuration or what.
And one other thing is that we released Go Closet SDK, but while Plakar is in Go, nothing prevents you from having, like, assuming that we write a REST SDK or a Perl SDK or whatever, you could have any language that actually can do I/O, which is pretty much everything. You could write a plugin in that. We are not tying our entire community to Go. I hopefully it's going to increase, so we attract more people with that.
Yeah, for the technically minded people, at the moment they speak gRPC between Plakar and the integration. So every language that has a gRPC library available could, in theory, implement not in theory, can implement the API and write custom thing. We just provided the SDK for Go because it's easier, it's what we use, it's what the current integration was already written, but prevent nothing from having a new one for Rust or Python.
And also in terms of complexity, just so people get an idea of how complex it is to write one of these integration, the GCP one you wrote in
want to say a couple of hours.
A couple of hours. And then,
to be precise, that's importer, exporter, and
storage.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I am already used a lot the internal interfaces, but the internal interfaces are kind of small, especially the importer and exporter one. The storage is a slightly different.
Most of the files were like 100 lines of code, including the comments.
The comments, but I did not put a lot of comments yet, but blank lines and comments. Yeah.
So missing ones are like easy to catch up. And now the very interesting part is the fact that we decouple the recycle is that regardless of when we're going to release the next version of Plakar, we can release like next week or in a month. Tomorrow. Release or tomorrow. Don't keep promises to plan. But you could release other integrations right now, regardless of the version of Plakar, just based on the Go Closet SDK.
Yeah.
So very cool. Any closing words?
Yes.
Yeah, I will do it. Okay, so let's close the effort. So we have all the team. Can I see all the team? Yeah, I see all the team. So the closing word, as Gilles mentioned, a lot of work has been done in the previous week. It's crazy again the amount of features that has been shipped, and now we spent 3 days with all the team in Madrid. Everybody is full of energy, and now which is quite surprising, to be honest, because the last days were pretty exhausting. But I think everybody is super motivated right now to work on the next version with even more crazy features, with delays that I don't believe, to be honest. But let's see, If we achieve what is planned in the next week, it will be awesome. And yeah, we are super happy to have an awesome community like we already have today. We hope that you will help us to make this community grow. We try to take as much feedback as possible coming from the community in this 1.04. So basically, you can see probably if you add some features, some of those features in what we just presented in changelog. If you have questions, don't hesitate to go on the support channel, and we hope that you will enjoy this new version, that you will continue to give us a lot of feedback, and that you will spread the word that Plakar is a different tool that definitely people need to have a look on it to secure their data. So
There's a question.
We have a question.
What is the question?
Really, it's on your left, on the left of the screen.
Yeah. So, hi, great to see you. In Twitch, did you plan to backup Docker container volume and be integrated in CAS platforms such as it will be awesome. Who want to answer to that? Gilles?
No, I was not paying attention.
Do we plan to back yes.
Basically, we have integrations. So as we just told, creating new integrations is just a couple of lines of code. So
We are only seeing legs.
Yeah.
But
Nice
you
leg.
can put it on
it was a
the
yeah. So
Sorry.
basically, the answer is yes, and it is probably already possible to do it, but you have to write a plugin yourself, and it's the type of stuff we want to extend in the near future.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot. The question for me is that we have had requests regarding Kubernetes, we have had requests regarding Docker, but have requests regarding pretty much everything. And at that point, is how many people are requesting the same feature, so we prioritize what needs to be done next. So answering, are we going to do it now? Yeah, maybe next week we're going to have 100 people asking for that feature, and we're going to do that. But we made it possible to do it. We might do it ourselves. We would very much enjoy if people use the SDK to extend, and we'll probably even make contests and give prizes to people who actually help the community with customization that are highly requested. At this point, it's we just released, and we need a couple of days to cool off on what the priority is.
So
Tapas.
bye bye everyone, and thank you very much.
Yes, we're in the way.